Good morning everyone. Welcome to this edition of Weekly Roundup. Myself Nilesh and I will be taking this session. In this session, we will cover important development of the last week. Before we start today's session, let's see the headlines of the last week. In this session, we will cover 5 main news, 6 quick updates, and 1 place in news. In 5 main news, first main news is about 16th Finance Commission report which was placed in the Lok Sabha. Second main news is about Union Budget of 2026-2027. Then third main news is about India and United States trade agreement. Fourth main news is about 16th Finance Commission recommendation for strengthening of the local bodies. And fifth main news is about first open call under the Research, Development and Innovation Fund. In place in news, we will cover Armenia. So, without wasting any time, let's start the first main news of the day. Before we start today's discussion, let us see some of the questions asked by the UPSC regarding the Union Budget and Finance Commission. As the Finance Commission report is very lengthy and it is not recommended by me to you that to read all the Finance Commission report. We will see and cover important aspect of the report which will be asked in the examination, right? So before we discuss those news, let us see what are the questions asked by the UPSC regarding the union budget. So the first fact about union budget is that the budget is not mentioned in the constitution. Constitution mentions about annual financial statement which is mentioned in the article 112 and that is informally called as the budget, right? And who prepares budget? So Department of Economic Affairs under the Finance Ministry prepares the budget each year. Budget have the two components majorly. And which are those two components? So capital and revenue. Please understand these two facts because questions are asked from this area only. This is the static part. You can read this in detail in your static books. We will see about the relevant information in the MCQ. So let's see the first MCQ. First MCQ is about, suppose the revenue expenditure is 80,000 crore rupees and the revenue received of the government are 60,000 crore rupees. The government budget also shows the borrowing of 10,000 crore rupees and interest payment of 6,000 crore rupees. Which of the following statement are correct? So revenue deficit is 20,000 crore. What is the revenue deficit? So revenue deficit is the revenue earnings, and here it is said that the revenue expenditure is the 80,000 crore rupees. So expenditure is 80,000 crore rupees and receipt are 60,000 crore rupees. So this statement is true that revenue deficit is 20,000 crore rupees. The first statement is right. Then it is talking about the fiscal deficit which is 10,000 crore rupees. What is the fiscal deficit? Fiscal deficit which means that the expenditure minus the earnings, and it is talking about the overall expenditure and the earning. And because there is deficit, government is borrowing 10,000 crore rupees, which means there is deficit of 10,000 crore rupees. So second statement is also correct. And what is the primary deficit? So primary deficit is the fiscal deficit minus interest payment, and it is 4,000 crore rupees. So third statement is also correct, and that is why answer is D, that is 1, 2 and 3. So this is the question. The second question is on the same principle. You have to apply this formula, primary deficit, right? You can get the answer. Please write the answer regarding the question number 65. Then there is main question, and question asked about distinguish between capital budget and the revenue budget, and explain the components of the both of these budgets. What is the uh, capital budget and what is the revenue budget? So basically here you have to talk about capital expenditure and capital receipt, and revenue expenditure and revenue receipt. What is the capital receipt? So generally loans taken by the government are the capital receipt which are not recurring. And what are the capital expenditure? So expenditure spent on the infrastructure, which is the one time investment, are generally called as the capital receipt. Sorry, capital expenditure. Same way, revenue budget is the revenue receipt. What are the revenue receipt? Various taxes are the revenue receipt. And what are the revenue expenditure? So salaries, pensions, all these things are the revenue expenditure. So this is about the questions. Now we will see the next question regarding it. So next question is about, consider the following statement: capital receipt creates the liability or cause the reduction in the assets of the government. And the second statement is that borrowing and the disinvestments are capital receipts. Then third statement is that interest received on the loans creates a liability of the government. So please understand, if you park your money in the bank and you get the interest on that money, so it is not liability on you, it is liability on the bank. The similar way, if government is receiving interest, so it is not liability of the government, it is the asset of the government. And if government have given loan to the states, so state will have the liability. So this statement is wrong. This third statement is wrong. And when you eliminate third statement, what is correct? 1 and 2. And we have already discussed what is the capital receipt and expenditure in the previous slide. So the answer is A, right? Then see this statement. In India, income from the allied agriculture activities like poultry, farming, and wolf rearing in the rural area is exempted from any tax. Please understand that not allied agriculture activities but primary agriculture activity is exempted, but allied agriculture activities are not exempted. That is the first thing. Secondly, the agriculture can be taxed, but this power is with the states. So state are not imposing any tax right now. So this first statement is wrong. Then second statement, in India, rural agricultural land is not considered a capital asset under the provisions of the Income Tax Act 1961. So it is true that rural agricultural land is not considered as the capital asset, but urban land is considered the capital asset. So please remember this fact. So this second statement is correct. So what is the answer? Answer is D. The statement 1 is not correct and statement 2 is correct. So answer is D. So this is about the questions. Now we will see the first main news of the day. The first main news of the day is that 16th Finance Commission report has been placed in the Lok Sabha by the Finance Minister. This development is very important for paper 3, that is government budgeting. So what is the background? So background is that the 16th Finance Commission, which was constituted in 2023 under the chairmanship of Arvind Panagaria, and government have accepted the recommendation, and this recommendation will be implemented from the financial year 2026-27 till 2030-31. So who was the chairperson of the 15th Finance Commission? So N.K. Singh. Please remember the names. Sometimes UPSC have asked the names. And who was the chairperson of the first Finance Commission? So K.C. Nyogi was the chairperson of the first Finance Commission. So this is about the background. Now we'll see about the Finance Commission, right? So Finance Commission is a constitutional body under the Article 280 of the Constitution, and it is constituted by the President of India every 5 years or earlier. Please remember this fact. And what is the composition? So it generally comprises of the chairman and the four other members appointed by the president. Are they qualified for the reappointments? Yes, they can be reappointed. So please remember this fact also. Then there is Article 281 of the Constitution, which says that the government will lay the Finance Commission report and the action taken report in the Parliament. However, please remember that this report is not mandatory on the government, and it is upon government to accept these recommendation or not accept these recommendation. So please remember this fact also. Regarding the states, state have the State Finance Commission, and the article for it is 243I. So it is appointed by the governor of the respective state. So governor of the respective state appoints State Finance Commission, and the article is 243I. This is about the background of the Finance Commission, their recommendation and relevant provisions about it. Now we'll see various recommendations given by the Finance Commission. So what are the key recommendations? So generally Finance Commission give the recommendation regarding the vertical devolution of the funds and horizontal devolution of the funds. We'll see what is the vertical and horizontal devolution of funds. Then they also give the grants in aid to the local bodies and even to the states, and they also give the various recommendation related to other matters also. So we'll see important recommendation given by the Finance Commission. Firstly, the vertical devolution. What is the vertical devolution? So generally taxes are collected by the center, and these taxes have to given to the states. And what is the proportion these taxes have to given to the state is the vertical devolution between the center and the states. And if these taxes are given to the states, so now states should also get the share through this corpus. So Maharashtra will get some share, Rajasthan will get some share. So what will be the formula to get divided this share into various states? That is called as the horizontal devolution between the various states. So this is the vertical and horizontal devolution. What is the recommendation given? So it is saying that the in vertical devolution, state share is deposable pool remains the divisible pool remains the 41%. Previously also it was 41%, so it is unchanged, right? And what is the horizontal devolution? So this 41% will be divided among the various states, and what are the criteria we will see in this slide. But before that, let us see what are the other recommendations. So there is other recommendation, that is the macro and fiscal stability. So it is saying that the state's fiscal deficit should be capped at the 3% of the respective state GDPs, and this should exclude loans under the special assistance to the state for the capital investments. So capital investments loans should be excluded from that 3%. So this is the another recommendation given. Now we will see what are the criteria under which the horizontal devolution will take place. The first criteria is the income distance. What is the income distance? So income distance is the per capita earning of the individual of that state with the other state, and that difference determines how much one state will get. So this have the highest weightage, and in 15th Finance Commission that weightage was 45%. In 16th Finance Commission that weightage have little less, that is 42.5%. Then there is population. What is the population overall population of that state will also determine, and it will have the 17.5% weightage for the population. Then demographic performance. Please understand here demographic performance means the increase in the population from 1971 till the 2011 and not total fertility rate. It is not upon the total fertility rate but the actual increase in the population. Please remember this fact, and for that 10% have been allocated, or the 10% will be the percentage which will determine the demographic performance. Then area will determine 10%, and then there is forest cover. So forest cover will also determine the 10%. There was a new category in the 15th Finance Commission, that was tax and fiscal efforts, but this category have been eliminated by the 16th Finance Commission, and instead of that new category have been introduced, that is contribution to GDP. So what is the contribution to the GDP by the particular state? That will determine the 10% of the funding. So this is the criteria for the horizontal distribution of the funds given by the center. So please remember this. Question have been asked many times on this, right? Now we'll see the question regarding the Finance Commission. The first question is about recommendation of the 15th Finance Commission. Please see the second statement. What it is saying? 45% of the net proceeds of the union taxes are to be shared with the states. So it is not 45%, it is 41% for the 15th Finance Commission and even the 16th Finance Commission. So second statement is wrong. If we eliminated second statement, answer remains C. So sometimes don't afraid of the facts and figures given in the answer. Even the single fact can lead you to the correct answer. So this is the correct answer. Now we will see next questions. Please see these questions. So the question are asked in the mains examination. How is the Finance Commission of India constituted, and what do you understand about the terms of reference of the recently constituted Finance Commission? Discuss. So this can be asked regarding the 16th Finance Commission also. So please go through it and create the answer. Then see this question. Discuss the recommendation of the 13th Finance Commission. So this is not relevant for today, but they can ask the various recommendation of the 16th Finance Commission, and see this question also. How have the recommendation of the 14th Finance Commission of the India enabled the states to improve their fiscal position? So this question was asked in 2021, and it is asking about the 14th Finance Commission. So 15th Finance Commission is also very much relevant even today, and the question can be asked regarding the 15th Finance Commission also. So keep it in that mind, and you should also prepare the 15th Finance Commission also. This is all about the first news. Now we'll see the second news of the day. So second main news of the day is about the government budget for the year 2026-2007, and particularly we will see in this news union budget focusing about the creating the champion MSMEs. This topic is very important for GS paper 3, that is the government budgeting. Please understand that before we discuss champion MSMEs, we will also see what are the various provisions made in this budget. So don't be afraid. Let's start the discussion. So before we discuss about the champion MSMEs, let us see about the various provisions in the budget. So firstly, budget talks about the macroeconomic performance of the country and what is the GDP growth projections. So it is saying that the real GDP growth will be around 7% and nominal GDP growth will be around 10%. And about fiscal deficit, it is saying that the fiscal deficit will be 4.43, which will be little less than the previous year. And then debt to GDP ratio is around 55%, and government is targeting that it will be around 50% by the 2030-31. So these are the some of the macroeconomic things which are given in the budget. Now we will see various aspects discussed in the budget. So budget actually discusses three kartavyas, and the first kartavya is related to the sustainable economic growth. In this thing, the first component is the biopharma shakti to promote the pharmaceutical industry. Then secondly, it is talking about the India Semiconductor Mission 2.0 to promote the semiconductors, as the semiconductors are very critical for the industrial development 4.0. So this is also very important. Then third, electronics component manufacturing scheme, as India is largely dependent on the import of the smartphones and the TVs and all those things. So India can avoid such imports and import bills, and that is why electronics component manufacturing skill will be promoted in the more rigorous manner. Then there will be rare earth corridors and the chemical parks. So rare earth corridors will be set up in the Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, then Tamil Nadu, and then Kerala. In these four states, there will be this corridor, and there will be three chemical parks which will be established. Then there will be emphasis on the capital goods and the container manufacturing. So to boost the infrastructure and the other activities, so capital goods are very important. That is why this scheme is there. And then there will be push to the textile sector, and for that purpose integrated textile program will be launched. And the lastly, there will be Gram Swaraj and sport goods. Under this, Mahatma Gandhi Gram Swaraj initiative will be launched, and under it Khadi and Gramodyog industries will be promoted. So this is about the 7 industries. Then it is also talking about the legacy industrial sectors to be rejuvenated. Then it is talking about the champion MSMEs, which we'll discuss. And then it is also talking about infrastructure at the growth connectors. So it is here they are talking about the 7 high-speed railway networks, 20 new river waterways, and other initiatives. Then finally, it is also talking about the city economic regions for the economic development around cities. And then there is carbon capture CCUS. So it will be for the green growth. So these are the some of the initiatives discussed by in the first kartavya. Now we will see the second kartavya, that is fulfilling aspirations. And in this kartavya, it is talking about the orange economy. So orange economy is generally economy which is creative economy, and here they will promote gaming, content creating, visual graphics, and all those things. Then for the tourism, they will promote the National Institute of Hospitality and the national medical value tourism, right? In for youth, there will be Khelo India mission, and for women in this team, that is science, tech, engineering, mathematics, there will be one hostel per district. So this is about the second kartavya. Then they are talking about the third kartavya, that is Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas. Under it, the first scheme is the Bharat Vistar. And what is the Bharat Vistar for? So it is for the information related to agriculture to the farmers. Then they are talking about the she marts. So self-help group of the women, and promotion and the selling of their goods will be under the she mart scheme. Then for the Purvodaya and Northeast, there will be Buddhist circuit, and then also East Coast Industrial Corridor. So this is for the Purvodaya and Northeast. And then for Divyangas, Divyang Sahara Yojana. So this is about the brief schemes and the important aspect of the budget which are important for us. Now we will see champion MSMEs regarding it. So basically, budget is also saying that they will create champion MSMEs. Before we see champion MSMEs and what are the various aspects, let us see some of the key important factors and the terminologies to understand it very easily. The first is about the trades. So trades is about the trade receivable discounting system. So trade is the electronic platform set up for the facilitate MSME to unlock the working capital by converting their receivables. What is receivables? Generally, many times what happens, they sell their products and they do not get money instantly, and such credit can be used to raise the finances. This is about the trade. Then secondly, it talks about the credit guarantee fund trust for macro and small enterprises, and this will actually guarantee the credit for the MSMEs so they can easily get the access to the credit. This was set up in the 2000 by the Ministry of Small, Micro and Medium Enterprises and CDB, right? So this is about the brief and the background of the scheme. Now we will see various provisions made under it. So the three-pronged approach will be there, and that approach will have the equity support. So there will be 10,000 crore of the MSC growth fund for the incentivizing the enterprises, right? Then there will be self-reliance India fund, which was launched in 2021, and it will also be given 2,000 crore rupees more to have the benefit to the micro enterprises. And then there is liquidity support, and under liquidity support there will be trades, as we already discussed. So there will be maximizing of the potential of the trades. So this is about the two provisions made under it. Then it is also talk about mandatory use of the trades for all the CPSCs to purchase from the MSMEs. So government companies will purchase from the MSMEs through the trades, and then there will be credit guarantee support, as we already discussed, so that MSMEs will get the credit very easily. Then there will be also efforts to create the secondary market, and through that MSMEs can raise the funds for their development and the expansion. So this is about it. Then there will be professional support also, and for that the corporate mitras will be created. And what are these corporate mitras? So these accredited para professionals will help the MSMEs to meet the compliance requirement at affordable cost, and these corporate mitras will be getting training through institutions like ICA, ICSI and all other institutions for the short-term courses. So this is about the MSME. Now we will see the relevant question about the MSME. So please see this question. So this question was asked in 2023, and it is saying that according to Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Act 2006, the medium enterprises are those with the investment in the plants and the machinery between 15 crore and 25 crore. And then secondly, all bank loans to the MSMEs qualify under the priority sector lending. So please remember this second fact, that all loans under the MSME sector are the priority sector lending. So second statement is correct. Now we will see the first statement. So there has been change in the definition for the MSMEs, micro, small and medium industries, and investment and turnover. So for the micro, the investment is about the 1 crore and turnover is for the 5 crore. For the small industries, the investment is the 10 crore and the turnover is of 50 crore. And for medium, the investment is the 50 crore and the turnover is 250 crore. So by this definition, the first statement is wrong, and that is why answer is B. So this is all about the second main news. Now we will see the third main news of the day. So third main news is about the India-US landmark trade agreement, and this is very important for paper 2, that is bilateral, regional, and the global grouping and the agreements. As we already know that US has imposed 50% tariff on India, 25% for the reciprocal tariffs and 25% for purchasing the Russian oil. And that is why Indian MSMEs and other sectors were impacted. The India is exporting majority of its goods to the US. US is the largest market for the Indian export, and because of these tariffs the export were hampered, and because of that there was large scale disruption in the pharmaceutical industry, textile industry, and other industries, and there were job losses because of that. So these were the implications. That is why it was very important to sign some kind of agreement with the US, not affecting the India's interest, particularly agriculture and the MSME sector. And after various negotiations, the trade agreement have been come to the final stage. And before that, India have also signed the mother of all deals, that is the India EU trade deal, and which we discussed last lecture. Now we will see what are the India United States landmark trade agreement, what are the nitty-gritties which are in the public domain, as the whole agreement is not in public domain, but some of the provisions are in public domain. So we will see those provisions. So this is the background of the India US trade deal. Now we'll see about the trade agreement. What are the various provisions which are in public domain? So the first is that US reciprocal tariffs on the made in India products will be reduced to 18% from the 25%, effective immediately. US have also withdrawn the additional 25% duty which was imposed because of the India purchasing the Russian oil. So this is the first aspect. Now there is many debate that the 18% is larger because various countries such as European Union, Korea, have Japan have the lesser taxes, about 10 to 15%. India have the larger, greater than that, that is 18%. But please understand that India have the direct competition with the various countries such as Bangladesh, Philippines, and all those countries, and India will having the less tariffs with respect to these countries. So this is very win-win situation for MSME, particularly textiles and the pharmaceuticals industry, leather industry in India. So this is one aspect. Secondly, as reported by the US, India have also agreed to scale the imports of the American goods, including the 500 billion worth of the energy technology products and the nuclear equipment. Also, India have also given assurance that they will also purchase the aircrafts which are Boeing generally. So this is also important aspect. And then India will progressively reduce the tariffs and non-tariff barriers against the US goods. So these are the some of the aspects which are given in the deal. Now just today there are more details of the agreement. We will discuss those details. So India tariff actions. So as we already discussed, will reduce the tariffs on the all US goods or reduce the tariffs. Secondly, cut tariffs on the US agriculture and basically on the nuts, fruits, wine and spirits, and also on the soybean oil. So this is one of the key aspect. Then they will also remove the tariffs on the additional products. So this is commitment by the India. What US have committed? So it will apply 18% reciprocal tariffs on the textile, leather, plastic, chemicals, home decor, as we already discussed. Then they will remove tariffs on the products such as aluminum, steel, copper, generics, gems, and aircraft parts. So this is also very important for the industrial sector of India, right? Then there are commitments regarding the non-tariff barriers and the standards. So there will establish the rule of origin. Then they will also address the barriers such as medical devices, ICT goods, and eliminate restrictive imports licensing. And they will align standards in 6-month review and discuss conformity. So this is about the non-tariff barriers. And what is about the future commitments? So India will purchase 500 billion US energy aircraft and technology over 5 years. So in 5 years, India will purchase about 500 billion US dollar equipments from the USA. Then increase in the trade tech about the GPUs data centers, which is very important for the industrial revolution 4.0 and particularly intelligence, artificial intelligence, right? Then they will also strengthen the supply chain resilience, and they will address the digital trade barriers. So this is all about the key aspect of the India US trade deal. This is very important for you. Question can be asked regarding it because there was large scale impact on the Indian economy because of these trade barriers by the USA. So please see what are these provisions under the deal, right? Now we will see what is the significance of this deal. The first significance is that economic significance, as we already discussed, that it will provide the increased opportunities for the farmers, MSMEs and entrepreneurs and the skilled workers to make, design and innovate in India. So there will be also investment in India from the US, right? And it will help India to get technology from the United States. So this is the one aspect. Then second aspect is that strategic reset in the bilateral relations. So what it is saying, the deal ends the phase of tariff escalation and there will be building of trust between the India-US strategic and economic engagement. Please remember that India is very important for USA to tackle the Chinese influence, and also for India for the same reason that China is the India's neighbor, and to tackle China, India also need the strategic alignment with the US and the Russia. So this is also very important. Then there are geopolitical implications. So India's position in the global supply chain will also improve. Then countering of the China's position in the global trade and the manufacturing. As China is considered as the manufacturing hub or the manufacturing industry of the world. So with the lesser tariffs than the China have the tariffs around 20%. So India will have the position to export more goods to the USA than the China. So this is also one factor. And then there is macroeconomic stability. So deal potentially helps stabilize the capital flow, then supports the rupee, and then improves the investor confidence. So these are the some of the aspects which will be very significant for from this deal. Then we will see about the India-US trade, as we already discussed. So India US is India's largest trading partner than any other country, right? We have already discussed it, and because of this deal, that trade will boost, right? So this is the one thing, and the US is one of the India's top trading partners. Trade surplus is with the India. So India have the trade surplus in this agreement and driven mainly by the services and high value goods export, gems, jewelry and the services, because the Indian IT industry is ketone for the services in the USA, especially software and related activities, IT, all those things, even the higher technologies such as AI. So this is one thing. Then secondly, FDI investment. USA is third largest investor after Singapore and Mauritius. So this is the third largest investor after the Singapore and Mauritius, with cumulative foreign direct investment FDI inflows of the USA is around 70 billion dollars in 2000 to 2025. So this is very important for the FDI, foreign direct investment and related activities. So FDI also improves the technology transfer, management transfer, new technology, new industries and the economic growth, employment, on all those activity actually happens with the FDI. So this is also very important. Then trade volume. So bilateral trade has stood at the record $132 billion in fiscal year 2025 as against the 119 billion in the 2024. So it will also boost and it will increase. And what are the key Indian export to the US? Please see: pharmaceutical, engineering goods, electronics, gems and jewelry, right? And what USA generally export to India? So crude oil, LNG, aircraft and their parts, and defense equipment. So this is all about the India-US trade deal and its various aspects. Now we'll see relevant questions. So please understand that there is question in the mains or the prelims related to US and its activities. So USA is very important in that aspect. We'll see some of the questions. There are many questions. I have given you 6-7 questions in these slides, but you can also solve other questions also, such as there was one question related to the third defense system, but I have not included it. You can solve such kind of question. Let's see this question. The first question is about what is the significance of the Indo-US defense deal over the Indo-Russian defense deals discussed with the reference to the stability in the Indo-Pacific region, right? So you have to discuss about the 4 agreements signed by the USA and India and their impact and their significance for the Indo-Pacific, right? Then second question is about how will I2U2 India, Israel, UAE and USA grouping transform India's position in the global politics? So this is also very important, that how I2U2 will transform India's position. So these are the 2 main questions. Now see this question, which is discussed by us previously, but we'll discuss it again here because such kind of question can be asked. So consider the following countries. Which of the above are the among the free trade partners of the ASEAN? Same question can be asked related to India, because India have signed the free trade agreement with the various countries such as New Zealand, then UAE, then European Union, all these things. So question can be asked with whom India have the signed the various free trade agreements, and this is question about the ASEAN's free trade partners. So in this question, Canada and USA are not the partners, and the answer is C, that is Australia, China, India and Japan. So this is the answer. So fourth main news of the day is about the 16th Finance Commission recommendation for the strengthening the local bodies. And this topic is very important for GS paper 2, that is the devolution of the powers and finances up to the local levels and its challenges. So what is the development? So 16th Finance Commission have recommended the total grants of around 8 lakh crore rupees to India's rural and urban local bodies for the next 5 years, that is from the financial year 2026-27 till 2030-31, with the other important recommendations. So we will see what are the other important recommendations. Before we see those recommendations, let us see what are the challenges in the local bodies financing. And the first challenge is structural revenue gaps. So what are these gaps? So they don't have the large power to have the revenues, and when they have the powers, they are not used properly, such as property tax collections are very low due to the incomplete and inaccurate property records, low coverage, undervaluation of the properties, etc. And this is also around 2% of the total finances, which is around 5% in the OECD countries. That is also one of the aspects, that the collection is very low, and because of the collection is low, there are lack of finances. Then there is over dependence on the union and state governments, as we are already discussing. So union government will be giving around 8 lakh crore rupees of grants, and state governments also give their grants, and without those grants there will be lack of funds, such as panchayat rely on the grants over 90% of their revenues. If the 90% of revenues are coming from grants, then how there will be any policy consistency and the policy planning? So this is also one of the thing. Then these grants sometimes delayed and not get in the time, and that also affect the developmental aspect of the local bodies. Then there is limited access to the debt and capital markets, such as municipals borrowing in the India are estimated at less than 0.05% of the GDP, because they generally issue bonds, but these bonds are not backed by the governments or any strong assets, and that is why these bonds are not in demand. There is also limitation on issuing of these bonds. So these are some of the issues. Then there are other issues also, such as underdevelopment of the bond market in India. Then there are data gaps and accounting issues, and that is why there are many issues of corruption and the mismatch of the receipt of the fund and the expenditure of the funds. Then there are delays in the constitution of the state finance commissions. So India have the 16th finance commission right now. In some state, the finance commission third, fourth, and fifth finance commission are constituted even today. These are some of the issues, and there are data inconsistencies in some of the states, such as Arunachal Pradesh. So there are also these issues which should be tackled to have the funding mechanism streamlined in the India. So these are the some of the issues regarding the financial issues in India. Then we will see what are the recommendations given by the 16th Finance Commission. So the first recommendation is about the property database. So it is saying that the state should develop the citizen-friendly GIS-backed property tax IT system, so that there should be some consistency in the data and related property tax, right? Second thing is the rural urban split, as the aggregate grants to be divided between 60-40 ratio between rural local bodies and urban local bodies, that rural areas will get 60% and the urban areas will get 40%, as the rural area is larger in India. So this is the second point. Third point is urbanization premium. So this is the new concept coined by the economic survey, and they are saying that allocation of 10,000 crore are designated to incentivize merger of peri-urban villages into adjoining larger urban local bodies. So they want that peri-urban villages to be integrated into urban bodies for the population greater than the 1 lakh, and by that there will be rapid urbanization, right? Then there is constitutional amendment. So Finance Commission is saying that remove the constitutional requirements such as Article 283 BB and 283B and C that binds Central Finance Commission to make recommendation on the basis of the State Finance Commission recommendation. So it is saying that it should have the power directly recommend the recommendation to the states, and not through the basis of the State Finance Commission's recommendation, because many times State Finance Commission are not constituted, and because of their non-constitution, Central Finance Commission cannot recommend such devolution for the local bodies through the states. So this is also one of the aspect. Please remember, this is very innovative point. And then lastly, they are suggesting that the best practices should be promoted, and for that Niti Aayog should study the State Finance Commission functioning and publish the compendium of the good practices for the states, so that state can adopt these good practices and implement these good practices in their local body financing. So this is about the recommendation. Now we will see what are the various sources of the local bodies for their funding. So first are their tax revenues. And what are those tax revenues? As we already discussed. So under the Article 243X of the Constitution, state devolved some of the functions to the state to have the revenues, such as property tax, we already discussed. Then there are non-tax revenues, such as charges, surcharges, fees, and granting permits. So these are some of the non-tax revenues. Then there are intergovernmental transfer, as we already discussed, such as financial commission grant, state transfers, and schemes transfers. Then there are borrowings. So as we already discussed, municipal bonds, general obligation bonds, such kind of bonds can be issued. And finally, the financing. So pooled financing for the small urban local bodies. What is the pooled financing? The small local body cannot generate funds itself. So 3-4 local bodies come together and then they can issue bonds and they can have the pool financing. So this is also innovative instrument. Then there is land monetization. So this is also one of the thing, many times their land is vacant and not in use. So land can be monetized and get the funding. So this is all about it and the recommendation given by the Finance Commission. Now there are some of the question given here. Please try to solve this question and write the answer. The first question is the assess the importance of panchayat system in India as the part of local government, and apart from the government grants, what sources can the panchayat look out for the financing development project? As we already discussed in the previous slide, you can write all these initiatives and the various measures which can be taken for the financing. Second question is that the states in India seem reluctant to empower the urban local bodies both functionally as well as financially. Comment. So here also you can write the various issues we already discussed, and in the solution you can give the suggestion given by the Finance Commission report, right? So this is about it. Then this question, see, the local self-government system in India has not proved to be effective instrument of government. Critically examine the statement. Here you have to write both the aspect, how it is effective and how it is not effective. So last main news of the day is about the first open call under the Research Development and the Innovation Fund. And this is very important for GS paper 3, that is indigenization of the technology and the developing new technology. So without wasting any time, let's see the background. And the background is that Technology Development Board launch its first RDI fund call supporting projects from technology readiness level 4 upwards under the Ministry of the Science and Technology. So this scheme is there for the R&D development and related activities in India. So let us see what is the technology readiness level. So technology readiness level is a measure of estimating technology maturity of the core technologies under these technologies or products utilizing them attain the market readiness, right? And originally introduced by the NASA, the technology readiness level scale is the metric with 9 technology readiness levels for describing the maturity of the technology from initiation stage to highest degree of the application commercial readiness. So this is the technology level. Technology level 1 to 3 is actually having the basic technology research to prove the feasibility. For example, if you want to deliver pizza by the drone, so basic technology will be that how drone will function, can it lift the pizza, what will be the weight, all these basic technology research and feasibility. Then there will be technology development. So prototype will be developed and see if it can lift the pizza. So this is the second thing. Then there will be technology demonstration. So then there will be full scale model will be built and they will see if it can lift the pizza for the some amount of time and for the distance. Then there will be system subsystem development. So finally the system will be developed and they will try to deliver the pizza for 1 kilometer, for example, with the tie up with some industry to see its effectiveness. And if that is the effective and it is efficient, then there will be system tested, launch and operationalize. That is the technology level 9. So this is about the technology readiness level. Now we'll see about the RDI fund scheme, right? So what is the RDI fund scheme? So this is the special purpose fund under the RDI scheme, which is the flagship initiative under the Department of Science and Technology. And what is the objective? So objective is that accelerating the investment in the India's R&D ecosystem and support private sector enterprises, startups and the industries working in the sunrise and strategic sectors. Please understand, sunrise and strategic sectors to transfer ideas into globally competitive technologies and the products, right? Then what is the corpus? So corpus is 1 lakh crore rupees over 6 years. And what are the mode of funding? So includes the loans, then 50% of the funds requirement, then equity participation up to 25% of the assigned assistance, and then debt to equity conversion at the latter date. So this is about the RDI fund. Now we'll see various priority sectors under the scheme. So which are the priority sectors? The first is energy security, transition and the climate change. Then such as carbon capture and utilization. Then there is technology, deep technology such as quantum, robotics, AI, all these deep technologies which are there for the industrial revolution 4.0. Then artificial intelligence for the Indian applications, and then biotechnology and the medical technologies. Then lastly, digital economy and the digital agriculture. So these are the priority sectors. Now we will see the related question about it. And the question is that the which of the following statement is are correct regarding the National Innovation Foundation India, right? NIF. The NIF is the autonomous body of the Department of Science and Technology under the central government. So this statement is correct. Secondly, NIF is the initiative to strengthen the highly advanced scientific research in the India's premier scientific institutions in collaboration with the highly advanced foreign scientific institution. So it generally promote research at the grassroots level. So this statement is not correct. The answer is one, only one. Then see this question. Scientific research in Indian universities is declining because of the career in the science is not as attractive as our business professions, engineering and administration, and universities are becoming consumer oriented, critically comment. So you have to write why there is challenge in the R&D in the universities, what can be steps taken, and what should be the various initiative to promote the R&D in the student. So this is all about the main news. Now we will cover the place in news, and today's place in news is Armenia. And what is the development? So development is that Chief of Defense Staff of India is visiting the Armenia. Let us see the important aspect of Armenia. Firstly, its capital is Yerevan. So the capital of Armenia is Yerevan. What are the political boundaries? So it is the landlocked country. And what are the bordering countries? So Georgia in the north. See the Georgia in the north. Then Azerbaijan to the east. Then Iran in the southeast, and then Turkey to the west. So Turkey to the west. So this is about the borders. Then Nagorno-Karabakh. So there is the region called as Nagorno-Karabakh, which is the conflict region between the Azerbaijan and Armenia, and there was war going on related to it. Please remember this fact also. Now we will see the geographical factors. So what is the highest peak? Mount Ararat is the highest peak. Important river is the Aras river. And why the Aras river is important? So it flows eastward, forming the international boundary between the Armenia and Azerbaijan. on the north and Turkey and Iran in the south. So that is why Aras river is very important. Now let's see this Caspian Sea, and which are the countries which border the Caspian Sea. So there is one mnemonic called as Tariq. So what is Tariq? Tariq is Turkmenistan, then there is Azerbaijan, then there is Russia, then there is Iran, and then there is Kazakhstan. So you can remember this mnemonic as map-based question can be asked regarding the Caspian Sea and its bordering state. Please remember Armenia is not bordering Caspian Sea. Even in fact, Armenia is the landlocked country. So this is about the place in news. Now we will see quick updates of the day. So first quick update of the day is about the Kaziranga National Park. And what is the development? So the study by the Birbal Sahani Institute of Paleosciences have examined the reason behind the decline and the present confinement of the mega herbivores, especially Indian one-horned rhino to the Kaziranga National Park. And the study suggests that previously rhinoceros were found all over the India, not confined to the Assam. So this is the development. Now we'll see about the Kaziranga National Park. What is the geography? So it is located in the Assam Brahmaputra floodplains between the Brahmaputra river and the Karbi, also known as Mikir Hills in the Assam, India. So this is the geographical aspect. Then what is the status? So it is declared UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1985 and it is also a tiger reserve. Then what is about the biodiversity? The park hosts the two-thirds of the world's one-horned rhino. Please remember that. Then it also have the tigers, elephant, Asiatic water buffalo, and eastern swamp deer. This is also very important. And then what are the conservation status? So established as the reserve forest in 1905, it is now the recognized as the important bird area by the BirdLife International. This is very important as it is the UNESCO Natural World Heritage Site and it is the one of the 7 site. Second quick update of the day. So second quick update of the day is about the New START treaty and what is the development. So expert warn that the expiry of the New START treaty will remove the last legal restraint on the world's two largest nuclear arsenals, that is between USA and Russia. What is the what is about the New START treaty? So it was signed in 2010 and enter into force in 2011 and it stands for the New Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, New START treaty, right? So it superseded the START treaty which was signed in 1991 and before that there was SALT treaties, SALT 1 and SALT 2. All these treaties were signed between the USSR and between USA and after USSR, Russia and USA, right? So the it limits the nuclear warheads and caps deployed strategic nuclear warheads of the USA and Russia at 1,550 each, right? Then it restricts delivery systems, so limits ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, SLBMs, and heavy bombers to prevent the arms buildup. Then it strengthens the arm control regime, serves as the last legally binding bilateral nuclear arms control treaty, reinforcing the global non-proliferation norm. So it is the only legally binding bilateral nuclear arms treaty. So please remember this fact. So this is about the second quick update of the day. Now we will see third quick update of the day, and the third quick update of the day is the Forge initiative. And what is the Forge initiative? What is the development? So United States have announced the launch of the Forum on Resource Strategic Engagement Forge during the inaugural Critical Mineral Ministerial, right? And what is about the Forge initiative? So it is launched by the ministerial, was hosted by the US in the Washington DC, bringing together delegations of over 50 countries, and India is part of this delegation to advance the collaboration on the securing and diversifying global critical mineral supply chains, which is largely controlled by China right now. Right? Then about Forge. So Forge has been created as the successor to the Minerals Security Partnership MSP. The question have been asked about the Mineral Security Partnership previously. So this is very important for the UPSC. MSP aim to bolster the critical mineral supply chain and support the economic prosperity. What is the objective? So four partners will collaborate regarding the critical minerals, their supply, their technology development, and all these things. So this is about the Forge initiative. Now we will see next quick update, and next quick update is regarding the gravitational lensing. And what is the gravitational lensing? What is the development? So astronomers have identified rare time wrapped supernovas whose light speed by gravitational lensing have the partially reached Earth while the rest is delayed by the decades due to the space-time distortion. So before we see what is the gravitational lensing, first see the supernovas. So what are the supernovas? So supernovas are the stars which have reached to the end of its life and explodes in the brilliant burst of light. What is the significance? When it bursts into brilliant light, so it provides critical data to measure the expansion rate of the universe and the study early cosmic history, because it will start expanding after the burst, and the rate of its burst will be the rate of burst of the universe in the start of its phase. So it give us important data regarding the expansion rate of the universe. Secondly, what is the gravitational lensing? So this is the star which is bursting, and when this ray is coming, what happens? It get distorted because of the gravity of the supernova, and because of it, this is the Earth, some rays come first and the other part of that light comes with the some delay. So this is the gravitational lensing, and because of it, what happens? We can see larger picture of that supernova. So this is the principle. So it occurs when massive objects such as galaxy cluster behaves like the lens and wraps space and time, causing light to bend. So this is the diagram, distort and magnify its as it passes around the massive object. So this is about the gravitational lens. Now we'll see the next quick update of the day. So next quick update is about the Donetsk region, and what is the development? So control over this region is the main hurdle between the ongoing Russia-Ukraine peace negotiation. So this is the Donetsk region, and please remember the names Donetsk, Luhansk, and Kharkiv. These are some of the names. UPSC is very keen to ask about the places which are in conflict. So UPSC can ask this question ki which where these regions are placed. So these are placed between the Ukraine and Russian border, and it is the place where the conflict is going on. This is the one factor. So location is in eastern Ukraine, right? Then about its border, so Sea of Azov is there, and Sea of Azov connects Black Sea through the Strait of Kerch. So this is the Strait of Kerch, and this is the Black Sea, right? So this is also important factor. Please remember the Strait of Kerch, and why it is important for its resources. So it rich in coal and the shale gas and salt reserves. So this is about the Donetsk region. Now we'll see the last quick update of the day. So last quick update is about the exercise Khanjar, and what is the development? So 13th edition of the Joint Special Forces exercise Khanjar started at the Misamari in the Assam, right? And what is about the exercise Khanjar? So it is the annual bilateral military exercise between India and Kyrgyzstan, and its aim is to enhance the interoperability between the special forces of the both the nations. So this is all about this week's weekly roundup. To read further about the current affairs, you can visit our digital current affair portal where you can solve various quizzes and read various current affair related material including PT 365. This is all for the day. Thank you.